into this lower bracket final matchup in this event. It is going to be GuMiho, the blue Terran, taking on the red Protoss player herO, as we kick off into game number 1 of this best of 5. And this is best of 5 lower bracket, best of 7 in the grand final. So we got a best of 5, a best of 7, then we're going to go into our own tournament, best of 5 finals as well. And it's likely to all be TVP perhaps, because obviously if herO wins this, we'd have Maru versus herO in the finals. I'm kind of rooting for that. Sorry, GuMiho, but I know you played an interesting couple games yesterday, but Maru still 3-0'd you. I'd love to see how herO does against Maru in the current form, especially after you won against him in GSL a few days back. So be very into all of that as Proby. It was about here a little bit. SCV's getting nibbled on as we take a few minutes to get settled, and obviously building. The probe comes across the map super early, so it doesn't really let you settle as a Terran player, but this is just because he knows what GuMiho is like. He would rather give the early probe mining to go scout earlier than usual to just check, hey, is your barracks at home? Are you building the factory when you should be building it, or is that missing? Is that potentially out on the map? You're basically just out and around looking for information here, so just trying to find as much info as we can with this probe early on. As you see, SCV and our probe continue to chase around just a little as well. We got a cyber core coming up, orbital command comes through as well. Everything is normal in that regard, and like I say, GuMiho has indeed built his stuff back at home, so there's no proxies on the map or anything of that sort to be considering or talking about just yet either. You get the SCV, they're going to nibble at the probe for a couple of moments, the probe gets pushed away. So yeah, again, just chilling out for a little bit as we have ourselves the Marine gonna go and chase down the probe again, just a little, just gonna finally push this out. Again, the factory's on the way through, so is the command center, building on the high ground as well, so GuMiho taking this careful approach, doesn't want to expose himself too quickly, doesn't want to give herO too many immediate options or anything. So just gonna be fairly on top of that, as you have the Marine continue to chase a probe out around. Elsewhere also, Stargate coming up, the Nexus continues through. It's going to be seeing our command center and our reactor continuing up as well. Really waiting for, obviously, action to really kick off with that Stargate. It probably will. We'll see also just kind of what style herO wants to play. Is he looking to play those Phoenix? Does he want to get a couple harassing Oracles out? There's obviously a couple of options in terms of what he does there, so herO does have a bit of a choice in that regard. Probe's going to start mining away again. Pylon's still coming up. And again, that Stargate on the way. Cyclone and Marines is already a great combo, of course. Playing against a Stargate just means that, well, he's cyber blocking the base. I mean, sure. I guess because if units want to come down there and clean out that cyber block, they would genuinely have to then probably let the Oracles or so, or Phoenix, you know, potentially do more damage. So yeah, okay, like, I get it, actually. It's not the craziest of things. It's not the craziest of things. They do have the Adept continue coming around. A couple of Marines still over here. Raven coming in. A couple of Marines still fighting. The SCV still coming around, too. These Adepts actually just being in the mineral line is such a frustration. They are getting so much done. 4 workers already going down. Cyclone and the Marines will now move down the ramp. The Adept already going to be in some trouble again. Taking a few more shots. We finally, I mean, we kind of land the CC. It still needs to relocate slightly due to the pylon. But we're getting there. We're beginning to kind of sort these things out. We're beginning to fix these problems. Once again, Cybercore Robo. Cybercore block done. Robo facility coming up back at home, so that Phoenix, most likely into Colossus play, begins to get settled. Obviously still building Phoenix. The Robo facility gives you access to the Robo Bay. That gives you access to the Colossus and that style of play from there on out. As the Cyclone comes through and the Adept being chased around just a little further. It's going to go down, trying to get a couple of the SCVs here, but just with one Adept, it's so difficult to actually get a kill. Needing 3 shots to get an SCV from full HP just takes a little bit too long. Lots of time to react as the Terran player move them away. Very tough for the Protoss to capitalize that. Unless the SCVs were already hurt, which a couple were, but nothing else coming of this as the Phoenix fly in. But Marines and a siege tank in position. You know, honestly, the Cybercore block's a bit funky. I know it probably delays a little bit. I do think the Cybercore block would have worked a lot better if you were building Oracles, just for the fact that I do then think you keep units on the low ground and you free up the main base to run your you know, to run the oracles into, and there's a higher chance of your opponent not being in position to deal with you then. The Phoenix don't really have that impact straight away, where one oracle can fly in and start killing SCVs. One or two Phoenix don't really have that same impact. You know, two Phoenix can kill two SCVs, sure, but it's not exactly a quick thing either. You know, one Phoenix takes actually quite a while to shoot through an SCV, so yeah, it's it was an interesting choice. I mean, obviously, herO was not thinking about it the same way I was in terms of running stuff into the main while that cyber block was there. He clearly just saw value in the, hey, look, I'm going to cyber block you. I genuinely believe I'm going to delay your expansion by a significant amount, and he's just going to run with that, so very cool. Is that Phoenix come back down on the left-hand side. Just going to get another little grab, an SCV going down. Phoenix still all joining together. Storm charge coming up, and again, Prism coming through. Extra gateways coming about as well, and Exodus also about to complete. Auto turret is just going to go and drop down and pick off a couple of probes, so it's going to be seeing T-Workers already going down. Storm continuing to come in. Phoenix going to go jump onto the Raven now, so that Raven gets picked off as well. We still have tanks. The bio units continue to come around. This is obviously goodbye Raven, so no more harassment from that. Interesting to send the Raven across the map against Phoenix. Usually you do just then keep it for the ability to kind of have it there to kind of go and, you know, be utilized in a fight and trying to kind of cast off. Although there's also the consideration that maybe if you just kind of send it in, even if you just try and get it into the fight, the Phoenix may try and snipe it anyway, so why not try and get something out of it now? And 14 SCVs died this game. Holy crap. Oh. Didn't realize just how good that, I guess the exact numbers of just how good that Adept, Harass, etc. had been. That was actually kind of wild. So GuMiho really has taken a pretty decent economic beating then all the way throughout, and again, it wasn't Phoenix Colossus like I mentioned either, right? Obviously, we've got Storm now. I always feel like Phoenix into Storm is such a volatile way to play. You know, it's one of those things where you really need those Storms to connect, otherwise you can really easily get overrun. Actually, what's really good usually against these things is Widow Mines, because a Widow Mine push is very good against just everything that's here. The Phoenix, the Zealots, right? With enough mines, you can really have some good progress. Still got to be careful of the Storms, as the first Storms come down now. These tanks are not going to fare well against the Zealots. The Zealots close the distance. Archons come in behind. Extra Zealots warp in. We do have Phoenix to lift up and remove some tanks if necessary. But GuMiho is not going to... Here's GuMiho. It is herO. GuMiho's upper right. herO's bottom left. There's in-base gold. Obviously harassable from the other side of the minerals. Terrans have been enjoying it, being able to pop a tank there and, you know, defend most things. Although players are starting to figure out how to handle the defensive tank and then punish the fact that the Terran only has that siege tank there, because once that tank is gone, you're very much so just leaving that entire mineral line up for grabs. So that has been something of a factor here as well. Trax continues to build up over in the main base. Trax and the gas gateway coming through. Get ourselves settled here for a couple of moments. We'll just seeing this Rax coming through, so we continue to get that going. We just have our gateway coming up as well, so bringing that gateway on and just getting that settled a little bit. Man, last game was really a whirlwind. I still feel thinking out about the Cybercore block, and herO was on Storm and ready to attack. Factory comes up, obviously not surprising. We've seen factories before command centers pretty much all the time now from Terran players. There seems to just be a straight up go-to. So this is something that we see time and time again right now. It's just safe. We even, a lot of the time, as you saw last game, go high ground CC. This would be kind of strange to not see kind of the CC on the gold base. And even weirder to see it on position, but on the blue base on the low ground. So on location on the low ground blue base. Neither player going to play for the gold. To be fair, maybe if there's anyone you don't want to risk taking a weird base against its hero, because we know that he will find ways to manipulate, distract, and punish you for kind of doing anything away from standard. At least with standard, you know roughly within the realm of possibility what he can, what he cannot do, what he's likely to be able to get done, what he is not at, for example. So at least in that regard, you kind of have a bit of knowledge. And this kind of situation is actually a little bit funky, because if you take the gold, it's still fresh, it's still new, the experience is not there. You've not seen the 10 different ways that herO might try and take advantage of that, right? So GuMiho would rather just play a more standard game, which is saying something, that GuMiho is trying to bring this game into being standard, but herO is trying to bring this game into being, well, I say crazy, I mean, he's being very normal himself, but just the potential, the threat of herO being a little bit wild and wacky and opening that doorway to that playstyle for him is a huge deal, and I think GuMiho is respecting that here with his choice of expansion. Hellions and Reapers trying to find an opening as GuMiho looks for a little bit of an early poke through, looking to see if there's anything available. Spoilers, there is not. Again, Blink coming around, the Robo Facility and a couple of gateways coming about as well, so we get all of that coming by. Continue to get settled in. As again, Robo, gateways, Blink, all the good stuff coming through for the moment here. Reapers. Get out over on these sides. The Hellions coming through the top. Stalker's Sentry's going to be there, going to push those Reapers back. We're going to be joining back up towards the front as well. As you see, the Orbital still just chilling in the front also. Just getting settled down for the moment. Server continues to come through. Obviously, Observer's vision going to be very important against a Terran that's already trying to throw Reaper Hellion at you and just trying to go multi-pronged aggression as best they can from the very get-go of the game. And Blink, Robo Bay, Forge, Observer, all of that continues in. Just for the moment. Still got the +1 attack and the Siege Tank coming up on the side of GuMiho, so that's also coming into play right now as well. Raven and a few Marines are going to come out over the side, just going to go chasing that Obs away. Just going to go push that out over the edges. Step back combat shield +1, continuing to produce. Obviously, this has been a fairly passive game. Even herO just kind of open and blink, but just going to go to 3 bases. No one's going to look towards the gold just yet. We're going to keep playing this in a very standard manner for now. This really is standard, slow, not really all that crazy. Again, we get the +1 extended thermal lance and charge continuing to come about here. +1 attack, stim and combat shield coming through as well. So that Raven just dropping a cheeky little auto turret down through the upper left-hand side. All these units heading down through the bottom then, so away they go. Let's have ourselves the army going for this big push. This is what GuMiho has been setting up for. It's going to come as all the bio upgrades finish. Waiting to see if or when he builds a 3rd CC behind this. He may not. He may just kind of really send it on these 2 bases. It is a big map though, so continuing to reinforce this is going to be tough. You can see him now saving up the money for the command center, which I think is the smart choice. Expanding behind an attack on a map this size is typically just a very good thing. You're going to take advantage of your upgrades and everything you've built into thus far, and then just, like I say, take the economy behind it. And he does build a 3rd on location as well on the triangular setup, so still avoiding that gold. He has a little drop play into the back of his opponent's gold base right now, so double drop over here. is going to be part of this combination attack as he looks to try and work his way through. Only the 2 Colossi left at the front. That's dangerous when you consider that there's a Raven right there. Yeah, they are very much so on their own, but do we have enough to kind of jump on in and do something about them? Yo, these Colossi, if you don't be careful, no? Man, I think herO's playing a very fine line. I think he's on the right side of it, because I think he could have got those Colossi back safe, even if they got Matrix and they couldn't fight anymore. And I think he's almost knows that, and he's trying to bait GuMiho into being like, hey, look how good an opportunity this is. You see, this is just 2 Colossi, right? Like, come on, Matrix me, dive on me. But GuMiho does not take the bait. He refuses to accept the hook, and he will just spit it out and continue through. Results come charging in again. We got ourselves a siege tank already taking some shots. Units around the right-hand side going to come in. Couple of Widow Mines looking to launch. Now we have a bigger drop into the main. The Stalkers do not blink immediately. There is a Colossus there, though. It's going to be a big deal. Oh, we load up. Is that to take the units over towards the Colossus? No, I feel like that was actually maybe just more of a misclick than anything. Unfortunately, I feel like getting on top of that Colossus could have been cool. Continue to fight. A couple more Stalkers going down. Is it enough? 14 probes killed is obviously a good start, but GuMiho lost so much army. You know what's coming. herO's going across the map. And when herO goes across the map here, this is not going to be a pretty sign for the Terran player in the slightest. As, yeah, this is going to be real bad. This is going to be real bad. I mean, herO is just going to have so much. The question is, can GuMiho do enough to keep herO back? The problem is that army supply, well, I guess over time might disappear because herO is on less work because he did take damage. Yeah, herO's moving across the map, and this is going to be the question mark of can GuMiho defend with a much lesser army? Again, in my eyes, I'm going to say no, he cannot. But maybe we can be proven otherwise as those Zods start to press straight on forwards. Stalkers there, going to try and grab a medevac or so. We get ourselves GG called, and herO is just going to take this one down. That is going to be game number 2 of this best of 5 going to herO, and it's been a quick dismantling so far. So maybe GuMiho needs to step up and be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to commit. I'm going to send it a bit more aggressively here. Bring in a bit more of that true old GuMiho style and see what we can do with that as herO and GuMiho line up for game number 3. SCV probe coming about for the moment, pylon coming up. See now, gateway coming through. Rack's on the way. Gets settled in for a couple of moments. How much is the prize pool for the winner? Good question. I actually don't really know because it's kind of weird because obviously the main thing was that this was kind of like a qualifier, right? But yeah, it's not even that much. It's like $350. I don't know if they get like a better seed as well. I'm kind of surprised that they made it, like even gave it prize pool because like $350. So basically third place is 82, second place 210, first place 350. Don't get me wrong, that's nice, but I'm surprised they didn't just say top 3 qualified and then we'll put this qualifier money into the, like we'll put this qualifier money into the, you know, main prize pool of the tournament. Especially just because it's like you get like 3 extra matches out of this that you wouldn't get otherwise. You get yesterday's Maru GuMiho, this herO GuMiho, and then also the, you know, the grand finals. You know, you're basically paying, I mean, like I said, let's just check how much the qualifier is. It's like $700. Just for the sake of having like 1 extra day of broadcast. I don't know. I think 13k first place or second place. Or 12k first place makes no difference. No, but you could put like an extra, if considering there was 3 qualifiers, you could put an extra $2,000 overall into the main event and just make it more profitable for the guys that qualify. Even if that's just paying out the lower seeds a little bit more. Or you could just save your money and, you know what I mean? Like, you already had 4 or 5 days of a tournament of each of these qualifiers here, right? Like, that's what I mean. Like, was it really worth the money to get, like, 2 or 3 extra matches? Because to me as well, these players are also like, hey, we qualified. Like, you know, yeah, we're going to play because it's a bit more money, but they're not going to be bringing out the most crazy of games. To me, the best matches were the matches that led to the qualification. You know, at this point, this is just a bit of a formality. They show up, they're gonna, you know, someone's gonna walk away with a bit more cash. Like, if Maru comes in and plays some super serious games, that'd be a good surprise, but... I mean, I guess he played a hell of a game or two against GuMiho yesterday, so maybe I'm wrong on my judgment, but... I don't know. It just doesn't seem like quite enough to... Yeah, be truly positive. I mean, you could have also split it amongst the players that didn't qualify. And just be like, hey guys, thanks for playing. You know, make them, you know, give them a little something extra. That would have been helpful for the scene. Yeah, I mean, like I say, not complaining at this prize money. It's just a little weird. And even more so that, for example, Maru has to show up for 2 extra days when he's already qualified to win, you know, a couple $100. I think that's the strange thing, right? Like, for Maru, he has to show up at 2 different times to play 2 different matches. If this was like a 1-day qualifier, it's like, okay, we play out the last couple matches anyways, and everyone's like, oh, I'll go on then, I'll play the extra couple matches. Anyways, GuMiho is doing what I kind of wanted him to do, which is getting a little bit more aggressive, getting a little bit more GuMiho-esque. And he is just being super aggro. Now, when I say super aggro, I really do mean it, because as you can see, on the minimap, there's no expansion in place. He's going to keep on rallying across the map. He needs to get these Phoenix knocked down, because he needs to free up the siege tanks. But I don't think he has the anti-air to get rid of the Phoenix. He just has to wait out the Phoenix lift, which he was able to do this time. Battery is going to fall. The next battery is going to be in trouble, especially as that pylon power unit is going to go down. That also depowers the gateways here as the probes start to pull in. Do the Phoenix have a lift to knock down the siege tank? Because that feels essential right now. So far, it seems like no. This one base push of GuMiho is absolutely committing and committing hard. The SCVs are going to keep the medevac alive, as we do have a Viking there just to try and fight back. So the Phoenix DPS not good enough in the skies. And this looks as though as we knock down another pylon, we just put more and more pain in. herO is smiling a little bit to himself. I think he knows that this has gotten the better of him. There's 3 tanks. The Viking, I mean, the firepower here is pretty darn substantial on the side of the Terran players. So now we're even dropping the siege tanks forward to try and get on top of those stalkers. We've depowered gateways, right? So there's not that many units available. They're going to pull the probes in. We're going to lift up with the Phoenix. So again, we're going to make the most of it as herO. I mean, he is 2 bases to the 1 if he finds any way to survive this. Another tank now up in the skies. SCV is going to try and do what they can. 1 tank, 1 Viking in the corner. I think this is enough though for GuMiho, because he's killed so many workers. Round 2 for GuMiho would likely win out, even if this round is not necessarily going to get the job done, because at this point he's up 15 workers, and I'm not sure herO will be able to take advantage of the natural so much so to fix up that worker count or anything of the sorts. This Phoenix lift, the siege tank will drop. The Stalker just trying to finish off that Viking as well. A couple of Marines still getting nibbled away at too, so we continue to pick those off. And then we have Cloak, we have Banshees, we have Cyclones, we have just all this good stuff. All things that you don't really have a way to deal with. I mean, if you show up before Cloak is done, you find the Banshee, that's nice. Or even if you just see Cloak. You're also only on 8 probes. Investment into detection right now is an expensive affair for someone that can't really afford anything. The only good news is that you actually might be able to get this done with the Phoenix, because the Phoenix are going to shut down all the units. There's not enough anti-air, so now the Phoenix are going to go after SCVs. I mean, how many SCVs can we get? How many lifts do we have? Honestly, not that many. So instead, we're just going to camp out the production units and just kill those as they come. herO still says that, yeah, eventually I actually do get to, to be 2 bases against 1. So let me rebuild my worker count. Let me slowly get there. And if I pick off units on the way, then it's only going to benefit me. The problem is the Banshee coming across the map, and the Phoenix is sitting here as though the first Banshee hasn't spawned. That's the issue. The fact the first Banshee's already off and away means that that is likely going to be able to get some pro picks, and that's going to put herO back into trouble. As GuMiho is still going to lose units as they pop out, more or less. We'll see a couple Stalkers. He didn't even have to lift one this time around. There's the Banshee. Like I say, there's going to be a battery on this other side. We're going to start to build an Oracle so we can get detection. Well, again, herO's going to try and win this just, again, based on the fact that he's going to have more units, but he's not going to have detection over here when this Banshee spawns. Banshee instantly cloaks, and that's going to be a defense now because these Stalkers will get shot down. So the first Cyclone pops out. The Phoenix will kill this. Again, this is basically a battle of the Banshees. The Banshee's the only thing you can really get into play. We're going to recall home as we look to try and deal with this Banshee now that we have detection. The Oracle, I'm sure, will show up here in a second. Drop the Revelation. Banshee goes down. herO losing a lot of mining time, being reset back down to 13 workers. I mean, he hadn't gone too far above 13, but obviously not being able to build during this is quite painful too. And Banshee Cyclone all coming about. The Phoenix here is actually going to find a Banshee as well. That's nice. And even if you can just force it to Cloak early, Yeah, it's actually out of energy, so not even needing a revelation. But he's going to go jump on that, and again, there's not a lot to really deal with. Phoenix, we're trying to build missile turrets as GuMiho has gotten to a natural expansion. Again, this is a unit problem. We actually have 2 Cyclones in the back, though. Again, they are still not a problem for the for the Phoenix lifts. The Oracle activating the missile turret will not be allowed to come up. We deny that for a little while. Phoenix come over, finish off that last SCV there. Now we're going to go in. The Viking is going to be in some trouble. The Cyclone is going to be in some trouble. There are 2 Cyclones, though, and maybe that is enough? Question mark? I mean, no, not so far. Absolutely not. We move forward again. Oracle flies through the missile turrets. We are going to find the Cyclone out of reach of the missile turrets, so the Phoenix can lift it fairly safely. And she comes in, couple probes continue to come around. This is too much for GuMiho, for herO, right? Just taking this damage on the other side again. As our Phoenix continue to come about, they are going to try and get, again, more of a cleanup here. We revelate, we get rid of the Banshee herO. 23 to 30 workers, so he's definitely behind. He's definitely off from where he wants to be. Definitely doesn't quite have what he was really hoping for. Well, extra gates coming down, Viking, siege tank, a couple more Marines all producing through as well. Well, if your Stalkers still go moving about, they're just going to go moving up here. There's a couple of Vikings, the Marines, and the Cyclone gathering up. GG's. herO doesn't have enough, and GuMiho is going to take the game. It got way more complicated than it should. GuMiho coming up. As we get him in the top right, herO in the top left. We get this underway. As he comes about, I'm taking some damage. We have ourselves early game looking pretty normal, pretty regular here. We'll see. No proxies. It is Ghost River, which has been a fairly aggressive map at times early, but the later it goes, it actually feels kind of hard to attack into the third triangular base. It's kind of funky. Party Monty, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Thank you so much for the 49-month resub. Welcome back. Hope you're doing great. Thank you so much. Probably CV nibbling about. And just have ourselves the Nexus coming in. The orbital is already finishing high ground. Now we're going to see C high ground. Get the factory started. And that Nexus just continues by for a couple moments. Looking okay, looking fine for the for now. Let's have ourselves again. Everything continue to come about. 40, there's a losers bracket. This is the losers bracket. It's the lower bracket finals. After this, the winner plays Mara in the grand finals. Adepts still moving about. A couple of depots continue to come around. It's going to be taking some shots. Stargate coming up. We got ourselves the Cyclone production. It's a fun few moments early. As obviously the Reaper is going to dive in toward the main base and is going to try and pick off a probe. Would be lovely if he can get it. Probe spill. Reaper taking some shots. Cyclone drops around and we are just going to be seeing the Oracle still on the way up here. Again, Oracle is coming. A couple of Marines are coming up. Let's get ourselves a little bit of setup. Continuing through still as we have ourselves the Oracle going to come back around. Cyclone is going to be there. Cyclone locks on, just going to be going after the Oracle. And we're seeing the Oracle is still coming about. Siege tank coming through, stim coming up, we got a few Marines still on the way in. We're just going to be having ourselves the Reaper kind of moving about. The Stalker's going to be there pushing the Reaper around as well. And so the Reaper can't really get through for the early moments. So just seeing that stim pack coming about, Marines and a tank coming in. And obviously with that stim pack and the double barracks already operational, expecting a bit of a push coming from GuMiho fairly early on. We'll activate one more time. Marine will take a couple shots. Marine going down. Again, that Nexus just building up on the third base. So we got that Nexus on the way. Cyclone locks on. We are going to be seeing our Oracle getting picked off already. Medivacs just boost back up to the top side, so we are waiting for that drop. That's kind of what we've been waiting on, right? Like I say, the double Medivacs, that fast stim. Oracle is in the main / natural currently, and that's going to pull a couple units around. herO's also aggressively set up, but this is going to be a weird hit because obviously GuMiho is about to attack. herO is kind of about to attack. GuMiho's going to attack first. That forces the recall. These Marines are just going to pull back. We're going to lift. That was a very dangerous lift from GuMiho. I mean, you got to know Stalkers are being recalled. I mean, that was kind of a... I guess I get it, right? But I get it because you know you want to try and get away, but in that case, do you not need to just get away sooner? If you know it's playing Stalkers, I mean, you can't even say he only just got the medevac because the second medevac took a volley as well. So it wasn't like it was just super close and herO worked out in his favor. As our Marines move forward, Stalkers and the Adepts are going to be here. Tanks and a couple of Cyclones will come through as you see our Stalkers already going about. A couple of Adepts are going to go picking away at those Marines. So you're seeing that cleanup will happen here, but SCVs are currently not mine because of the Oracle as well. Oh my god, GuMiho is just falling apart. He's being asked to do things in a couple of different places, and he's just not passing the multitasking check, quite frankly. He is going to make this a little bit uglier than we expected it to be. That's going to be 9 SCVs going down here from GuMiho. And herO is back with map control and all the rest of it. And if that escapes up to the top, away we go. Stalk's coming in again. D-Bot is going to be taking a couple of shots coming through. Just going to be having a medevac coming back over. We're just going to be dropping in. Again, a few Marines over in the corner. Going to try and get set up. As they dive back through. So this time herO is actually going to be punished for being out on the map. He is going to not have a recall available, so he takes about 5 probes of damage. Has to pull back manually. Still feel like herO's obviously in the better position. The medevac is there. Is that reachable by the Stalkers? No. A little bit of a shame. Phoenix locks on. Medevac will be taking a few shots. Go down, so the Phoenix is going to be able to just knock that away. That's nice because it just removes another position of units on the map, right? So good to get rid of that already. As the RoboBait comes up, these Zealots and the 1-1 upgrades on the way from herO. His +1 attack is much sooner than his +1 armor, but it is on the way nonetheless. As our few Marines get here, they'll cancel. We try and play the harassment on the 4th. Again, here's going to pull back in a big way to go and deal with that. Something which is definitely adding up over time is Marines. It's going to get jumped on. The Phoenix going to be there to deal some damage to it all as well. Medevac is going to go down. So Medevac does indeed drop. A few Marines still gathering together. At some point, herO's going to push. GuMiho is not going to have a drop ready, and herO's push is likely to kill because he's just opened up such a huge advantage throughout the course of this game and these fights. So we're really just on our way to that right now as we have Zealot Stalker still joining together, ready. I think this might be it even because herO is finally going to have GuMiho without anything on the map. herO actually has pretty good vision set up now as well, so he would see anything coming in quickly to deal with it in a way that he may just be able to kind of get a warp in off. The only problem is he's got to attack into what is actually a more defendable third base than I ever really imagined here on Ghost River. I didn't think this map was going to give you that real option to kind of, you know, play such a defensive third base, but the way that the ramps work and the corners work into the base seems to make it, like I say, a bit more defendable than you might expect. Well, it's still coming about. We just got ourselves the Prism lurking, waiting for a chance to get going as well. As I'm just going to go ping away at a Marine already. Armory coming up. The few extra ghosts on the way through. A few Marines still in production as well. This army of herO pulling back over to that left-hand side. Stalker's still coming through. The Dark Shrine is already coming in. I'm going to get a little shot off once again. Still got that 2-2 coming out. The Extended Thermal Lance is a part of that as well, so we're getting the Extended Thermal Lance ready to roll. And again, just with more tech units, this becomes better and better for herO, who's maxed out against 150 supply, so that should be your preview of where we're at in this game, and kind of now you know where everything stands. Stalker's still coming up. The gateways are coming about. +3, +2 on the upgrades as well. Prism speed even coming by. In fact, there's not really a way in which herO is behind at the moment. Everything is looking pretty darn good for him. Across the board, another disruptor shot. Also, taking a little bit of an advantage, kind of shooting over the ledge there is a cute little move. As you see, a couple of Zealots are going to go running on the right-hand side, so they're going to arrive, hit the mineral line just slightly. A little bit of damage being dealt there right from the very get-go. And herO just took a 5th base behind all this. He says, well, hey, if I don't feel comfortable attacking in, let's just expand, expand, expand. He is just going to decide to drop a few Zealots off in the back of the natural, so maybe he is ready just to kind of go for it, but this isn't going to be too big of a deal. GuMiho's not going to do too much trying to move around do think herO could have probably killed off those rocks on the left side and the right side at this point. I feel like he could have killed those off, and that would have opened the pathways in a little bit more easily if he does ever want to attack. But again, it is a very defendable position, and I can understand his hesitation towards just being the aggressor, because again, he just doesn't need to be. He's taking base number 6 now. GuMiho's going to try and move to base 4, but that's where the door opens for herO. Suddenly, he's invited in because GuMiho is going to leave it wide open. He's going to be spread out more than beforehand, and that's going to give herO more opportunities, more positions to play about. And this would be the time, because we're still a little bit shy of being maxed out as GuMiho. So this is the time where you can still fight and do it with an advantage. GuMiho has way less workers, so he's not building up a bank during this, where herO has been building up a bank for a little bit as well. And that is going to be, again, the big differences here thus far. So still Colossus continues to come about. More shots coming through. The Disruptor shot flies, just going to be seeing a bit more bio. Pushing away down the right hand side as well. Everything up together. And it's going to be time for herO to go. Like I say, just because GuMiho's down that ramp, it actually makes a big difference. It just means this is such a better opening to potentially push into as the Protoss. But so far, we do not succeed. But hey, trade-outs like this are fine as well. You trade some army for some army. Well, herO's the guy that has the bank, as we've mentioned before, right? So he rebuilds off of that easily. GuMiho does not, and GuMiho is just down 20 workers. That does mean at any point in time, GuMiho can have a larger army on the map. But it also sadly means that it's going to be, again, difficult for him to rebuild if he loses anything. And obviously, Disruptors are pretty good at just doing little bits here and there. That second Prism didn't start to drop and actually took a Widowmine to the face, so the unload attempt there was not quite it. herO going to try and come around this side. Mostly just the tanks. The bio's going to be a little bit away. We blink through. Disruptors kind of went the wrong way. No, I understand they went with the tank, but I feel like a Disruptor should have absolutely gone up the ramp and zoned out the bio. If you zone out the bio as it comes down the ramp, that you very likely succeed in just kind of breaking into that location more easily. Well, this was a disaster from herO in terms of just, again, how the exact fight looked. It's working because, again, he's just so far ahead. He's taking 2 bases now on GuMiho's side of the map, but he is really not having a good time trying to execute his attacks. The double Prism play was not it. The Disruptor play there was not it either. herO is playing at a lower level than you maybe expect him to, because he's the micro Protoss as well, remember, right? So kind of expect him to be able to take fights like these ones. So far, he is truly just struggling. They're going to come back over. Vikings going to be there along with it. Come back around the other way. Stalkers, Zards, etc. will begin to move through. Just knocking down this set of rocks already. Opening that up. Disruptor shot is already going to grab a ghost. Protoss force still moving around just a little here. Vikings overhead. Also chilling out. A few more DTs warping in. Opens continue. DT is going to come up that right-hand side. You're going to be seeing the +3 attack coming, +3 armor, sorry, coming through. So you get that on the way as well. DT is just going to go swiping. Planetary Fortress taking a bunch of shots. Planetary Fortress dies. Another tank already firing and a few more hits coming through. Yeah, see that command center coming down as well. We do have ourselves this Protoss force still trying to push up this ramp, trying to see what we can do over the next few moments. GuMiho is out in the center. Bio, Medivacs, Ghosts all joined up. Going to see the Disruptors continue to come around as well. Just going to have those firing through the Colossi. Kind of getting cleaned up as well. I mean, this has not been the prettiest of fights from herO. In fact, it's going to be a fight that he loses. But GuMiho, yeah, I mean, he has no rebuild, and he just knows that herO is likely going to be doing too much. He's already got Zealots in the mineral lines, which is why you see SCVs going down when the GG was called.